Alita Battle Angel is directed by Robert Rodriguez, and it's produced and co-written by James Cameron. It also stars Mahershala Ali, Jennifer Connelly, Christoph Waltz, and a few other actors. And this review is going to be a little bit different. I'm starting a new series on this channel called Movie Rants. They're going to be very similar to my movie reviews, only this time it's going to be more so of a rant than a review. These are going to be films that are extremely frustrating to me, so it's going to be a very rare series, but I can't think of a better movie to kick off this series with. Now, Alita Battle Angel tells the story of a cyborg who is found in a scrapyard by Christoph Waltz's character. He's kind of a doctor of sorts. He works on cyborgs and helps put them back together and heal them. They live in this very dystopian world underneath this glorious city. She one day dreams of going up and kind of restoring her memory and figuring out where she came from and discovering her lost past. Now, I say that that's the synopsis of the movie because that's what IMDb tells us is the synopsis of the story, because this movie really doesn't have a story. Now, before I get into the negatives, I want to start with the positives. This movie has some of the best, if not the best, visual effects that I have seen on film in my entire life. James Cameron really did put his heart and soul into all of the visual effects technology that he wanted to create for this film. Rumor has it that the technology that he created to make the movie Avatar was kind of a test vehicle for this film. Now we're living in kind of an opposite world where James Cameron's too busy making 4 different Avatar sequels, and he's too busy to work on this film that was his passion project to begin with. All of that aside, the visual effects in this movie blew me away. If you're one of those people who the sole reason they go to movies is for spectacle, you don't really care so much about story, you can be forgiving as long as what you're seeing is incredible and a sight to see, then go see this movie. You'll enjoy it. The visuals in this film are incredible. They blew my mind. I wasn't prepared for them at all. The trailers didn't really stick out to me, and I didn't really think that the CGI looked bad, but it didn't really give that much of a glimpse of the world that this was going to create and show me. And I have to give the movie props for that. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best visual effects of the year. It better win at the Oscars unless there's something else that's going to blow me away in the coming months the rest of this year. Also, I think that there's a lot of talent in this film as far as the cast goes. Some of them are definitely giving better performances than others, namely Christoph Waltz and Mahershala Ali. However, there's a lot of weird casting choices that I'm not exactly sure I agree with. For example, Alita and the love interest character, I didn't really buy their chemistry. I don't think that the chick who plays Alita is bad per se. I just don't think that she's very believable in this romance that is feeling kind of forced, if I'm being honest. But like I said, there's no really glaring problems as far as the technicality of this film goes. It's edited very well. It's very well put together. There are 2 technical aspects that I need to come down on. That is the direction and the screenplay. This movie is directed by Robert Rodriguez, and James Cameron kind of passed the torch to him when James Cameron just couldn't find the time to make this movie, and I think that was a mistake. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that it's been 10 years since Avatar came out and none of us care about the sequels. I would have much rather seen a director like James Cameron who cared about this source material and knew it inside and out direct this film rather than someone like Robert Rodriguez. This film is not in Robert's wheelhouse. He's only known for the Spy Kids movies, that Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and then he makes those B super violent grindhouse films like the Grindhouse collaboration with Quentin Tarantino, the Machete movies, the Predator remake, the one with Adrian Brody. Movies like that, that's his wheelhouse. PG-13 sci-fi action films are not his forte. That's not to say that this film was directed poorly, it's just this movie doesn't give any focus to the areas that it needs to. Now, I don't know if that's fully Robert's fault or if that's James's fault for not being able to get a narrow enough screenplay, or if it's a combination of both. But that is where this movie falters, and that is what makes this movie the most frustrating theatrical experience that I have had since Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This is a gorgeous movie. It's so well put together. The cinematography is great, the editing is great, and the visual effects are flawless. Why does this movie suck? It's so frustrating. Oh my gosh. Oh, why? This movie sets up 7 or 8 different movies at the least, and it can't focus on one story element. It's too busy trying to pull on every single thread that it has. Stop doing that. There's like 1 or 2 story elements that I found incredibly interesting, and I wanted to focus on that, double down on that. They give us a few glimpses into Alita's past where she's like some soldier on another planet. I think it's like, maybe even on the moon. I was so invested in that. That looked so good. Why couldn't have that been the entire movie, or at least half of it? We never get any focus on Mahershala Ali's character. We never get any focus on Jennifer Connelly's character. Why is she in this movie? She has nothing to do. All she does is make us wonder why she exists. She makes decisions that don't make any sense. Christoph Waltz is wasted in this movie because he's giving a great performance and you can tell that he cares, but again, we don't learn anything about his character. He is an exposition device for the film to give the audience a clue as to what's happening, because we certainly don't know because the screenplay doesn't care to tell us. Oh my gosh, this movie pissed me off. Okay, I can imagine that this film has extremely deep lore and a crazy detailed world for us to explore, and I'm completely okay with that. I don't have to know an IP to go see a film. I would love to be introduced to something new. When the Lord of the Rings films came out, I had never heard of those books, I had never read them, and the film did such a good job of establishing the world and establishing the lore and making it interesting, something that I would care about and then did grow to care about. This movie didn't do that. Imagine if you watched the first Lord of the Rings movie, The Fellowship of the Ring, and the entire 3 hours of the film is spent showing us Frodo, showing us Sam, showing us Aragorn, and we kind of just learn all of these random things about these characters without any real weight. And then we go to the Mines of Moria, we go to Gondor, we go to all these different places, and it's not until the final 5 minutes of the film, 3 hours into it, after we've just watched a whole bunch of crazy nonsense, that we finally learn that, oh hey, there's a One Ring. Frodo's had it this entire time, and we are going to form a fellowship, and the goal from all the movies here on out is to destroy this One Ring. But you just wasted 3 hours of your life with a bunch of chaotic nothingness when we could have told you that 2.5 hours ago. But Lord of the Rings did not do that. It established its story, it established the lore, it established the characters, and it did it all very well and effectively and deeply. This movie doesn't do any of that. This movie just drags you around for 2.5 hours. I think it's 2 hours, but it feels like 2.5 hours. Just from place to place to place, with character to character to character. Look at this cool thing. Check out this cool thing. Isn't this neat? Isn't this cool? Aren't these action sequences great? And I'm like, slow down, give us some character development. I know I'm getting a little crazy here, but again, I wanted to start a new series, and this is the perfect film to do it. Guys, Alita Battle Angel has easily some of the most impressive visuals that I have seen in the past decade. I was floored by how detailed the world, the CGI, the fight sequences in this film were. They were all incredible. The cinematography was beautiful, it was edited well, and there are good performances hidden in here. But there is a complete lack of screenplay and a complete lack of direction, and it results in this movie feeling like it's an hour longer than it should be. It results in it feeling like a mess, and it results in an extremely frustrating film-going experience. The only way that I could recommend you see this movie is if you can forgive a complete lack of story and structure just because you want to see incredible visuals. If that's your thing, go see it. If any sense of a bad film, no matter how good it looks, is going to bother you, don't waste your time or your money with this film. Guys, I'm going to give Alita Battle Angel a 5 out of 10 bulbs. Alright guys, so have you seen Battle Angel? I hope you didn't. If you did, I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments below. This film's been out for a while, so I'm sorry it's a bit late. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.